Hey, this is Jay.
And this is Chelsea.
Welcome to the Shifting Perceptions podcast.
We are bringing you inspiration to live a more creative lifestyle because our favorite people are the ones that choose the path less traveled. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 27 of the Shifting Perceptions podcast. This is Chelsea Alders. This week, we got to chat with the one and only Paula Fuga. Paula has had us enamored with her passion and love for music since the minute we met her about 10 years ago. In this interview, Paula walks us through those first moments as a 3-year-old singing in the car and hearing her own voice, to the rough and rocky years living homeless on the beach in Hawaii as a young child. Paula's story is deep and filled with twists and turns, and to be honest, as we hear it, we realize she was always meant to be a singer. Her voice is just the beginning of her magic. Stop what you're doing and pay attention to this one. Her breathtaking poetry, her belief that she is of the stars and a star child meant to help change this world for the better. And that voice, holy moly, that voice. Paula is a natural storyteller, and we probably could have chatted for 5 to 6 hours just learning about the steps it took to get her onto a stage in front of thousands alongside music greats like Jack Johnson and John Cruz, Damian, Marley, Mike Love, and 3 invites to the White House to play for Barack Obama. We walk through her early rejection from American Idol, which led to a long relationship with its creators, the car accident that led her to write Country Road, how the collaboration began with Jack Johnson, which led to many songs, tours, and albums together. Oh my goodness, I could go on forever and ever, but I'll just let you listen.
Aloha, everyone. This is Jay Alders, and that was quite an introduction from Chelsea, and quite accurate, I might add. Paula is epic. So, if you haven't done so already, may I please ask you or invite you to click subscribe, or click like, or just click some buttons on your podcast player that make us happy. And I released a new painting last week. If you haven't seen it yet, it is an ocean-inspired piece that goes perfectly with the beach groovy vibes that Paula brings along. My paintings you can find at jalders.com. You can find our show, Shifting Perceptions Podcast, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or on shiftingperceptionspodcast.com. You can find Chelsea at her business site. She is a birth doula. You can find her on ommamasdoulas.com, or you can find her at Instagram at Chelsea Alders.
Let's jump in. Hi.
Hey, there she is.
Aloha.
So you're in Hawaii right now, right?
Yes, I'm on the North Shore at home in Pupukea.
Awesome. How is the weather in Hawaii right now?
Well, I mean, I'd say it's freezing, but you know.
Come on. Are you kidding? What, it's 81?
It's freezing at a toasty 63 degrees right now.
That's pretty chilly.
That's
All
brisk.
right.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it was a 2-blanket night here
Holy
in
moly.
Pupukea. Now that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So how's married life?
Oh, you know, we're good. We he's super supportive of my career and, you know, my free-spirited lifestyle.
That's what you need for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So he's my rock, my foundation.
Yeah, you are a free spirit for sure.
Yeah. I just realized that you and your brother have twins today.
You just realized that.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. His brother has twins too.
It's funny because everyone thinks it's like hereditary, but theirs were from like IVF and ours were identical. So there's like no correlation. It's just a total coincidence.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, so Summer...
I was thinking it was genetic too.
Yeah, like our little Summer is the only one on that side of the family that's not a twin. It's pretty funny. Yeah, she's going to have to be something special, that's for sure.
Oh, she already is. How are the kids?
They're great, actually. They're going to be at swim class in a little bit. They're doing great. They're learning to snowboard and ski and swim, and they have their little instruments set up. We have that little pink guitar for Summer she has, and the boys have this drum kit we got them, which is like awesome. And
I love it.
Yeah, the boys are like jumping off like a whole flight of steps, like just for fun.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they're your boys, Jay. They're gonna be crazy.
It's gonna happen.
And oh my gosh, I saw a little kid pic of you, and your boys look just like you when you were that age. Same haircut and everything.
Yeah, real similar. It's weird how like the genetic DNA thing happens.
Okay, now we can start.
No, it's all good.
We have so much to catch up on. We'll just keep jumping back into this. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
So Paula, we met you around 2008, and a quick story on how we actually met. So sometime in 2007, I was painting at my easel, and at the time I had like a YouTube playlist or something happening, and your song with Jack, Country Road, popped on, and I'm sitting there painting, and I was probably super baked, and I like looked over, I'm like, what song is that? And your voice just like mesmerized me, as it does all of your fans. And I paused what I was doing, put the paintbrush down, looked you up, and at the time we were having this huge fundraiser about to happen for Surf Aid, and trying to manifest getting a chance to get, to meet you and see you play. I shot out a message to you, and as the universe would have it, you got back to me and said, I'm going to be somewhere in New York with family. I'd love to do the event. And we met you at that event in 2008, and we've been friends ever since. And
yes,
it's just been a great friendship, and I want to hear everything up till that point. So can you tell us maybe how this all happened? Like, what got you to the point where you're playing with Jack Johnson? What got you to the point where you're a professional musician following your dreams?
Well, I was born. Not just joking.
Sing it, girl.
Just joking. Yeah, music has been a saving grace for me for my whole life. I knew that I could sing probably when I was 3 years old. I would just sing along to the radio, and the day that I realized I could sing, that I was different, that there was something special about the fact that I could sing. I was in the car with my mother, 3 years old. She's driving in the front seat. I'm in the back, and she started singing along. And usually, if there's a song that I like, I'll say, "This is my song. Nobody can sing it," and then I'll sing it, to the radio. And so I just let her sing, and I just watched her, I observed her from the back seat, and I thought to myself, "Oh my God, why is she even trying? Doesn't she know I'm better than her? Like, doesn't she know that?" And I just let her go. I never did anything. And, as time went on, there were different moments in my life where, I would I think about music, about songwriting. I was probably 5 years old when I clearly remember pulling a song apart and analyzing it, the lyrics.
Wow.
And I remember it was a song called Song for Someone. It was a song by Henry Capono. And I was about 5 years old at this time, and listening to the radio. My mom put me in front of the radio, said, "Here, this is how you change the stations." And she just wanted to occupy me with, electronics. Similar to today.
Oh, so similar.
Yeah. Here's a radio. This is how you turn it.
Yeah.
This is how you change the station. And so I listened to it. The song came on, and the lyrics were, "I'm trying to write a song for someone that I love so dear," and then the chorus said, "I guess it's the wrong time of day to write a song for you." And I just thought, wow, this guy is writing a song about not being able to write a song. That's the coolest song ever.
How epic is that?
I know. And let me tell you, last year, Henry Capono, now this is like 30 something years later, he called me up and asked me to be a part of his project. When he called me, the first thing he said was, "Hey, have you ever heard of my band, Cecilio and Capono?" And I said, "Wait a minute, before you say anything, let me tell you this story." And I told him that story. And he was calling to invite me to be a part of his project, a project where artists of my generation recreate his songs in their own style, And it was such a beautiful thing. I didn't even have to choose a song because the song was pre-selected for me, because I have that really beautiful connection with that song. I was able to record it with Henry Capono, and yeah, just an
How
amazing
cool is
experience. I mean,
that?
just talk about full circle, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Uh,
I mean, we're at age 5 right now, and you already know you're a musician, which I will venture to say, I feel like we all feel like we're pretty talented at age 5, and then the real world chimes in to let us know we're not. So, what kind of set you apart? So, I was listening to your TEDx thing, which was absolutely phenomenal, and hearing, that you were dished a bit of bad luck from probably the age of about 5 to what was it, like 9 or 10? Is that about?
Oh, I don't believe in luck.
Well,
It
had some
was
difficult
okay, I believe
circumstances.
that. I really truly believe that things happen for a reason. And I had to go through that whole experience in order to become who I am today. I know that um it's all of these lessons throughout life that make you who you are. And if I didn't have to, go through that homeless period or that period of time where my mom was heavily on drugs and I was placed in foster care, I wouldn't be able to speak to the kids that I do today, because I wouldn't have had that experience. I wouldn't have had any, you know, clout with them. Like,
Yeah.
how can I encourage kids to be positive and choose to do right if they're in a homeless situation and a drug induced environment? If I never experienced that before, I'll just be another person talking through my teeth,
Yeah,
with no
absolutely.
experience. And I truly believe that that's the reason that I had to go through that.
So let's talk about like that side of like art as therapy. So you use that for yourself, obviously, like the music got you through all of that. But how do you use it to help kids now? Let's talk about that mission you've kind of been working on.
I try to lead by example. I don't write any songs in particular for kids to kind of understand any situation or lesson. I just write the songs that help me to grow, that help me get through trying circumstances, that help me process these life lessons that I have to face. I just write them for my own self.
Yeah.
And just so happens sometimes, your songs or your lyrics can strike a chord in someone's heart. And that's a bonus. That's a beautiful bonus about music. The lives that your music and your art can touch. But
So
it's stuff.
you were a kid and then you were raised by your grandparents and your aunts and uncles, I think. I actually remember you
Hmm.
telling us a bit about that. So then from that point forward, when was like this moment where you were like, I'm actually going to go out into the world? Like, where do you get the courage to do something like that and sing in front of
Oh, I
people? And
just so you know, I knew from when I was 3, there was never any wavering about my destiny, my goal, my dreams. It was always the same from when I was a little kid. It was never a matter of when it was or how. I just always knew that it was going to happen.
And
yeah.
where did that come from? Where did that confidence come from? Do you think you were born with it? Were you modeling
I
it
was
after
born with
someone?
it
You were, yeah.
100%. Yeah. I feel
Because
like
knowing you,
some
you are definitely one of the more like smiley, happy, optimistic people I know. I was wondering if you can kind of take us back to that moment or that time of your life where you were homeless, living on the beach with your mom. Were you that same Paula back then? Were you smiling and laughing and optimistic, or were you in a darker period that you pulled yourself out of?
um I'm sure I was in a very dark period. But I was living on the beach. There was a very cruel adult in my life at that time, and he used to beat us up, me and my sister, for no reason at all, just because I'm pretty sure they were drunk. And I was eating out of a trash can,
Oh
living on the
my God.
beach, and this adult condescendingly looked at me and he asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" You know, just like as if whatever I said could never be. And I looked at him and I looked away from him for a second and I just had this vision. I never put that vision in my mind. It just came to me. I was in front of a huge audience. I was in front of a wall of people. I was on a big stage and there were people seated in front of me like a wall, like the seating went up.
Yeah.
And I looked around. I remember seeing chrome in the drum kit, I was in the front of a big band, and I could see the people's faces clearly. There was a whitish blue, purplish light shining on me and reflecting on the faces in front of me. And as I looked at the people's faces, I knew that they were there for me, that I had no doubt in my mind. It was such a very clear and vivid vision. It was so powerful. I knew I have zero doubts that that was my destiny, And later on, as the years went by, as I became aware of, like in my adulthood, of all the different venues that there are, I kept trying to look for that one venue that I think is in my vision. And when I described the place to my friend, she's the wife of Jack's guitar tech.
Okay.
And so she gets to see all these beautiful venues all over the country, all over the world. And when I told her when I described the venue to her, she said, "Oh my God, that's Red Rocks." And I was like, "What?" And the funny thing is, while I was looking at all the different venues, I had a feeling like it was Red Rocks. And I swear this venue in my dream, in my vision, is Red Rocks. And I haven't played there yet, but I will one day. And I will make that dream come true. I will fulfill that vision 100%.
Oh my gosh, we're putting it out there for you, Paula. And it's funny because if there were ever a spiritual place, Red Rocks is the place. Like, we've been there. I don't think we've actually seen a show there.
No,
we've just climbed it and been around it. Yeah, I mean, that's a place made by the gods, that's for sure. So it makes total sense.
What do you attribute that vision to? Is that a religious thing, a spiritual thing? Is it a universal woo-woo thing? Like, how do you relate to that?
Well, gosh, I come from the stars. So I'm full of magic, and so is my life, When I meditate, when I get into that meditative space, when I close my eyes, when I sing, I'm transported to the stars, like no joke. And in my vision, when I close my eyes, all I see is space, and the stars are huge, but they're far away from me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I always felt like I was a star, like an actual star in the heavens.
Oh my gosh, Paula, I love you so much.
I feel like that's why I saw those visions. That's what I'm here for. Did you ever hear of star children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
That's so awesome. We've actually been told we have one of those too. So you and Summer, we're going to have to get you together sometime.
Yes.
Do you continue to have these sorts of visions when you're meditating? Have you had any that have been this clear, like, since then?
Oh, yes. I have lots of traveling dreams. I'll have dreams of traveling, and I'll see a piece of wherever I'm going to go next. Like, sometimes it's hotel parking lots. Sometimes I see hotel doors. Sometimes I see the path to the hotel room. It's crazy. One time I was in Australia, and I was in Queensland, and I had a dream of a path of a new place that I was going to go see. And when I woke up in the morning, I told my two girlfriends that were traveling with me. One of them was a musician, and one of them was our tour manager at that time. And I had to tell them my dream because I knew it was about the next place that we were going to. And I said, "Hey, we're going to walk on this path. There's going to be shrubs on this side. It's going to be dimly lit. It looks like this, we enter the place that we're going to stay from this direction." And like everything that I dreamt, I told them, just because I wanted, when it came true, I didn't want to seem like a liar, like, what? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. No ways. There's no way you dreamt of that. I needed them to know, so that way when it came true, they would see it for themselves that I'm not crazy. Like, I have these actual dreams or premonitions, And so or visions. And then it came true, every single thing about it, about that dream. And I was able to have two witnesses witness a dream coming true for me, you know.
Oh my gosh. So
But yeah, I have those.
do
And
you
when I get,
use like any of this intuition and like this sort of guidance inside you to like write your music? Like, do you feel that come through you in your creative process?
all the time, like, I'll just get inspired, you know, it'll come on the wind or something. And I'll just try to record it on my voice memo so that I can get the idea down, because I don't read music and I can't just like write it down on a piece of paper, you know, like, oh, okay, this and like this, you know. So yeah, I love voice memos. It's great. It's a great tool. I have so many songs on my phone right now.
Release them,
It's
girl.
better.
Don't lose that phone, Paula.
No, yeah. Thank goodness for iCloud.
Yes.
Right? Back that shit up.
You're going to get hacked after this conversation.
Nah, I won't.
So let's go back to your story. So we're moving forward. And then I think that I had read, or you had said at some point, that you started it as a poet, like you were writing a lot, right?
Oh, yes. Before I started writing actual songs, I would just make little rhymes, or I'd write love notes or things like that, you know, like love poems. And yeah, before I started writing actual songs. And then I was able to use the poetry and turn some poems into songs, you know. But mostly when I write a song, it comes out in the form of a song, you know, like. And then, but sometimes I just get really clever lyrics and I'll just write them down. And then when I'm writing a song, I can go back to my lyrics or those little poems, and I can insert them into whatever song I think fit. So I'll go and revisit. Sometimes it's a line or two, you know, that rhymes or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a thought and I'll just write my thoughts down too. You know, and it'll be not a full poem, but just like a little line. And sometimes you can build a whole song off of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, then moving forward, so you're doing poetry. You picked up ukulele first. Is that the first instrument that sort of spoke to you?
It was just the easiest instrument that I could learn to play so that I could accompany myself to sing, you know, just like in high school with friends, like a little jam session kind, you know. And we had ukuleles at home, so it was easy for me to be able to get a hold of one.
I think that's pretty relatable. I feel like I know a lot of musicians that started just because those little, I mean, I know with our kids, they think that they're like writing music all the time when they pick up the ukulele. So
oh, so sweet.
Do you teach a lot of people on the ukulele? Is that something that you don't? No.
I think it's so easy. People just learn on their own.
Well, not this girl. So I appreciate you thinking that, but
funny.
That's really cool though. But so then you're moving forward. So you start playing. And then when was the first time you were like, I've written a song beginning to end and this could really be something?
Gosh. I was probably 18, 17 years old, just graduated high school. And we'd play music, my cousins and we'd play music at night. And I think I was just getting into writing songs back then, but it was just for fun, you know, like funny songs that we make up, that we sing about each other.
Well, so your whole family was kind of musical. So where did all that come? So was it your aunts and uncles, your grandparents? Like who was?
No, not really.
No one was?
My auntie was a singer in high school. She sang for this high school choir that took them all over the world. So I kind of grew up knowing that story about her and how fabulous that was. I used to see pictures of her on big stages and with this beautiful light on her, you know. And then my grandparents both played music, but no one was ever professional or anything like that. My grandfather always had a piano and an organ in his house, and he'd play it. He played slacky guitar, ukulele, steel guitar, and auto harp.
Wow. Well, I feel like that does a lot just being surrounded by music. It's like you don't realize, I mean, I feel like you don't realize how much music is in your home until you're in a home that they don't have music, and you realize that for some kids it's like they're not exposed to it ever, and that's a pretty crazy, like when you realize like what that might be like growing up with no music in your life, you know.
I don't know how that could be.
Yeah.
I don't know what life would be like without music.
I know, we feel the same, that's for sure.
So did you start collecting songs, like making songs and amassing what became your first album? Like, how did that...
Yes, I did, Jay. Good question.
Well, thank you, Paula. Mahalo.
It took me a bunch of years to collect those songs because I wasn't really it wasn't my focus.
Yeah. What was your
focusing
focus?
on other things. Just living life and trying to get by, you know?
Yeah.
I think that I think there's a struggle when you're not living your true purpose in life. I think you struggle in life when you're not living or fulfilling your true purpose in life, you know, following that path that you're meant to follow, using your gifts to better yourself, your family, and your community. I think that when you're not doing that, then life sucks a little bit, you know?
Well, so what was holding you back? Because it seems like you had a clear vision like very early on in your childhood. What stopped you from following that?
I think what stopped me was just trying to support myself as an adult and not being there yet as an entertainer, not having the opportunities, you know. Like I for a long time I would go to like bars or whatever with my cousins, and then they'd ask the band, "Hey, can my cousin jump up with you?" And I'd jump up and I'd sing a couple songs for years, and not one single band was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to jam with us?" or anything. Not one single band. And I was fine with it, you know. It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't until American Idol came to Hawaii and they did their auditions, and I just had to try. I needed to know, you know, I couldn't just let it come to Hawaii and then leave us, you know, without ever going down. So I did. I went to the audition. There were probably about 2,000 people there. And I slept on this asphalt ground on like a thin blanket with my girlfriend to go to the audition. We woke up at like 6 a.m. The bathrooms were packed. This was at Aloha Stadium. The bathrooms were packed. So we went across the street to a fast food restaurant. And we got ready in the bathroom there. And by the time we got back to the audition, we were the last people in line.
Oh, no.
It was so funny. Like, we could have slept in our own beds, got ready at home,
just
left
showed up
early. Yeah, I just showed up. But no, we're like so concerned about the line. We're like the last people. It was so funny. And then, you know, I auditioned for them. The producers loved me, even though the judges didn't select me to be one of the contestants on the actual show. The producers loved me so much that they flew me to Hollywood to make a show about the popular rejects, that the popular people that got rejected from the audition process. And I knew that they were making fun of a lot of the people. And I knew without a doubt that they weren't making fun of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love them. I love that opportunity. And maybe about 2 years ago, I ran into Nigel Lythgoe.
Oh my gosh.
He's one of the... Wait, is that the actor?
I don't know who that is. Who's that? Nigel?
No, I'm pretty sure.
Nigel.
I'm so bad at pop culture. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Go ahead. We'll fix it in the show notes. Go ahead.
Terrible. I'm pretty sure that's his name.
Okay.
I wouldn't forget it.
We'll call him Nigel.
Oh,
for the
yes,
story.
it is. It's Nigel It's Lythgoe. Goe.
Oh, okay.
And he's one of the creators of American Idol. I ran into him at an event that the White House had in Washington, D.C. And he said he remembers me very clearly, that I was one of the most memorable voices that he's heard that came through American Idol. Wow. So I thought that was really a really great and beautiful compliment.
Well, so you're tripping right over one of my questions that I was going to get to, but let's talk about the White House. So I thought it was once. So you've been invited there 3 times?
Yes.
How the
4
heck
times.
Is that? What?
Well, no, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how it happened. I guess I, had a clean record or something.
Little do they know the stuff that we know, right?
You know nothing. Jay Alders.
I've got some photos, Paula.
Oh, man.
All innocent ones, guarantee.
Yes. So did you actually perform each time, or you just went as a guest, or what was it?
Oh, no, I was invited to perform at the White House 3 times now. The first time was in honor of Asian Americans and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Okay.
The next time was Asian Americans and Pacific Islander in the arts.
Okay. We're getting more specific as we go.
Very niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just making categories so Paula can come is actually what they're doing.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they did. Then they had the third time was for female ukulele players.
Asian Americans who fared out of American Idol.
Yeah. Asian Americans who were rejected from American Idol.
Who are also ukulele players and play with Jack Johnson.
Former homeless Asian Americans.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So good. And so did you get to meet Barack? Was that?
Yes, I did. The first time I met him, I stepped on his feet.
Perfect. That's great.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. He had big feet.
Did Secret Service take you down?
They tried, but just joking. They're fine. I think they only they're cool. They're cool. And then the next time I met him, I got to perform with John Cruz at the White House. Second time I went. And then the third time I went to the White House, it was for a Turnaround Art talent show. And Turnaround Arts is a program that was initiated by Michelle Obama. They targeted the lowest performing schools, the lowest academically performing elementary schools in the nation. And they provided resources for arts in education. So like art supplies, they had the teachers incorporate music into their lesson plans, more visual arts and everything, more performing arts. And in the schools that they did this in, they saw a 180-degree turnaround for the kids. The kids started to enjoy school more. They started to engage in the activities and the lessons and, retain the information. And it was just a beautiful thing. So they expanded it to cover the entire country. So I think there were 100-something schools. And I mean, I think it's like a few of the lowest performing schools in each state. So, that was the next time that I got invited to the White House. I was able to perform with my own students from Hawaii that are a part of the Turnaround Arts program. And it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm sure that was pretty that has to just be, how did you feel walking in there?
Put us in your head for that. Like walking in the White House, there's Barack, you're stepping
nervous?
on his feet. Like what's going on in your head?
What was going on?
He's so humble and down to earth. He's just like, you're like nervous to meet this guy, but he like doesn't even care who he is. You know what I mean? He like I feel like he doesn't think much of himself. Like he's just a regular guy, Yeah. And that's how he greets you. He's not like greeting you as the leader of the free nation, of the free world or anything like that. He's just greeting you as a human, one-on-one. And I like that. I like that about him.
Yeah, that's cool. And there's also obviously that side of the local love of just the Hawaii heritage, and I'm sure there's a little pride in that when you're there, and that's really cool.
When I saw him, he made a shotgun and he goes, "How's it?"
Yes.
I said, "Aloha."
So were you freaking out? Because I know you're really humble, and I know you take pride in being humble and not bragging too much. But I've also seen you when we're hanging out with you, whether it's going to see Jack, or I know we went to see Dave Matthews one time together, and like you still have that like little girl Paula in you that is beyond stoked about the music and about being in the scene, and like just you're so grateful So I can only imagine you walking into the White House. You must have been, at least on the inside, being like, what the hell? This is sick.
I know, I was like, oh my God, what? Like, this is crazy. I took a picture of everything. I took a napkin from the bathroom. I mean, it's like a disposable one. It's not like, you know,
they're coming for you
napkin.
now, Paul.
Yeah. Don't tell. I don't want Secret Service to show up at my door right now. Nah, just joking. And then, you know, the Obama Foundation actually invited me to play it at an event for him earlier this year. So that was really special too. And it was even more special for me because, I mean, I met him already. You know, the third time when I was invited to go to the White House, I had to ask people, is this something I should do? I already went twice. Like, should I let somebody else do it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I just feel like, you know what I mean? And, this last time that I got to meet Obama, it was really special for me because I got to invite two of my musicians to play with me, and then they got to meet Obama too.
That's cool.
So it was really sweet. One of them's my drummer, my new drummer, and he's from Africa. He fled the country when he was 10 years old from the Congo, you know, the Republic of Congo.
Whoa,
which is
heavy.
And I feel like it's a common thing because I just met another guy who fled when he was 10 years old, because when they become 11 years old, they're forced into a childhood militia, you know?
Yeah.
And so their parents got them out of the country so they wouldn't have to be a part of that. And he made it all the way to Hawaii. Can you believe that?
That's
and
insane.
He's just like one of the most soulful, one of the most talented musicians that I've ever met.
And what's his name?
Or his name is Leslie Lou Diazo.
Ooh,
he's phenomenal, and I was able to like bring him to meet Obama too, and it was really special. You know, just like coming from where he came from. You know, like
right.
I think I'm special. Oh my gosh, this guy's special. Like, you know, where he had to come from and what he had to go through to be who he is today. And then my keyboardist, Ethan Capone, there are two musicians that are on my album that I'm currently in the process of mixing right now.
Oh, are we getting a new one?
Yes.
Oh my god.
You made us wait so long.
I know.
Paula. I know. You know, hey, I wanted it to be out a long time ago, but that's just not how it goes. You know, you can't rush magic.
I know.
Magic happens in its own time.
It's got to be right. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of your collaborations because you obviously have a phenomenal resume. But first, let's give a little bit of like love to Mike Love, because I know he means a lot to you, and like that has been a really cool collaboration for you. So talk about how you guys met and what you've been working on and all that stuff.
What a great segue. So Mike Love is my brother. I love him so much. He's one of my best friends in the whole world. And we grew up together in this music industry, you know. We've been together now about 14 years making music. And I met him at a jam session. And when I played or when I sang, I guess he liked it. So he made sure to introduce himself. He's like, hey, man, I love your voice. You know, let's play together sometime, you know, or whatever. And every time I ran into him, he would come up to me and say hi. He would be so friendly. He was the most friendly one at this jam session. And I remembered him. And so when I started to create my first album, he started asking me like, oh, how's that going? I'm like, oh, it's good. And then he said to me, hey, if you ever need help, let me know, because I'll play for you for free, you know? He said, I'll do it for free. And I'm like, what? Oh, so sweet. And then I told my business partner at the time, who was helping me fund the album and the project, I told him about Mike Love. And so we brought him into the studio to record a couple songs for us. And he was good. They were like, oh my God, this guy's so good. I'm like, really? Oh, right on. I was like, he was just really nice. And I was like, okay, you can come jam. But I didn't like know that he was so good, you know, that he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he's just gotten better and better over the years. And, you know.
So you guys still kind of work on a lot of your projects together? Is he still?
Well, yes, he'll call me for background vocals if he needs it for his album. And,
yeah,
you know, if he's home and free, I'll book him to play with me play guitar for me. But he is my producer for this album that I'm working on right now.
Oh, that's cool.
He knows my music the best, inside and out. He knows what I like. He knows how I should sound, how I want to sound. And he's helped me. He's helped me finish up the writing on some of these songs. There's one song that I started writing like 8 years ago or something like that. And I couldn't, for the life of me, finish it. It was just so hard. I didn't. And so I told him, I was like, oh my God, this song is so hard. He goes, what do you mean, the writing part? I go, yeah. He goes, why? I said, because it's all about me, you know? Like, it was like a song trying to get real with myself.
Yeah.
And it's like so hard to get like, you know, to like, you know, pick at yourself and like break yourself down like in a song, you know?
Oh my God. So why'd you choose to do a song like that? You just felt like you needed the therapy of it, or what?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Same Beat, and the chorus goes, if your heart and your feet are not moving to the same beat, how could you look me in the eyes? I could see your truth, I could see your lies. You know, it was like a song about me looking in the mirror and being like, yo,
good, Paula.
Like, I could see all this shit that you're trying to hide from everybody. Like, just gotta get real with yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And even though I started to go there, I couldn't get there, you know?
So he helped you?
Oh no, when we were in between takes, and I was just singing the same lyrics over and over again to hold the place, you know, of the verses and stuff. And so I said, oh my God, this song is so hard. He's like, what, the writing? I said, yeah. He goes, why? I said, because it's all about me. And then he's like, oh. He goes, well, if it's all about you, I could finish this song in like 2 seconds.
Okay.
I could finish this song right now. And he goes, because I love you so much and I know you so well. And I was like, what? Aw. So the next take,
Paula.
during the next take, we ran the song again. And then after that take, I said, oh, Mike, just thinking about the lyrics that you would write for me, just fills my heart with so much joy. Like, wow, so sweet. I can't wait, you know? And then we were done that day with the session. I left and he texted me on his way home. And by the time he got home, he had the whole 2 verses rewritten out for me. And like with my lyrics, my original lyrics, and then ones that he added.
Oh my God.
And it was so beautiful. I just started crying because I'm like, how did you know? How did you know all of this about me? I never told anybody.
Oh my God.
Do you feel like you learned something about yourself from that process?
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew of all this stuff. It just wasn't like in my face. And I didn't know anybody else knew this stuff about me too, you know?
Can you share what that was? Is that too personal to share?
No, it's just like, you know, like doing things that don't serve my higher purpose or things like that, you know, like
yeah,
just like stuff like that. Nothing like, you know, too secretive or anything. It's gonna be on an album, you know.
yeah.
It was just like a look inside of my. I told Mike, I said, it's like you opened my whole soul and exposed it to the world.
Oh my God, so cool.
In his lyrics, so I can't wait for people to hear it, you know, because this is the most. I mean, I'm really excited about it. There's a song in there that it's a song about friendship, but it sounds like a love song. It is a love song because I love my friends, and you know, I love hanging around guys. Like Bradas is my favorite guys, my favorite kind of people to hang out with. I've always been a tomboy my whole life. Of 13 best friends, 9 of them are men, you know, and I just get along with boys better. I don't know why, but I just always felt that way. And so sometimes I'll be hanging with people, you know, and I feel like they think I have a crush on them or something. I'm like, no, I don't, man. I just want to be your friend. Like, I don't like you like that. I'm married. Like, and so I wrote a song like that about a friendship. Like, yeah, I want to be your friend, but that's all I want. You know, I just want to be your good friend. Like, there's a song like that, but it's so beautiful. And Mike Love said that it was like a very vulnerable song. And it's just got me and piano on it. And I can't wait. I'm so excited. Like literally this week, all of the music just got transferred over to our mixing engineer. So I can't wait for him to get in and do his thing. And then I can come in and listen and like put my 2 cents in here and there, you know?
We were talking about some collaborations. Do you have any surprise collaborations on this one? Any appearances by maybe someone named Jack or?
No, but guess what? I'm going to Australia with Jack.
Oh, for what show?
For the Byron Bay Blues Festival.
We should specify Jack Johnson for anyone that doesn't know who we're talking about.
We love that festival.
I'm sorry. There's only one Jack in my life, guys.
Same here. His
name is Jack, last name Johnson. Not to be confused with the boxer.
Yes.
But yeah.
So that is one of our favorite. I mean, we went to that festival. Oh God, it's
2010.
Probably 10 years ago now. It's sad.
Wow,
to say.
how was it?
It's
amazing. Such a great.
I mean,
spot.
Australians are just so amazing with just music in general, and it just was a really cool show. We were actually backstage for Jack for that.
Yeah.
That was
cool.
Yeah.
Yes, he's headlining the whole thing this year. And actually, so cool. They asked his people contacted me to see if I could go to Tahiti with him. And then Jack came back and said, well, ask her, what if we take her to Byron Bay Blues Fest and then, and then Tahiti? And then I was like, yep. So I'm glad that I have an agent. I always had trust issues. I think, because of my growing up and being taken advantage of a lot when I was a kid and stuff. And so I'm very cautious of that now. And sometimes I feel like I'm too defensive. But I mean, now I have an agent and I feel like I can give that job to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't have to
just be a musician. That's the most important thing.
I just want to worry about the music.
Jay would give anything to have an agent. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's a dream to not have to worry about that stuff.
All that side of it.
Great.
For sure, because it's totally goes against the other part of us. The free loving, wanting to share our artistic side of us. We want to do all of that, but we can't because we can to a certain extent. We have to be very selective of how we, give our time and our energy and where we put that towards.
Yeah. Well, and so since we're just picking this back up again, let's talk about that relationship with Jack, because I know, so Country Road is your first song with him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote it. And when I wrote it, I thought about him while I was writing it.
Really?
We never even knew each other yet. Yeah.
Is that just because you were always thinking about him and just so happened to be that time?
No, what happened was I was at a workshop, an educational workshop. I was in the education field working at charter schools and things like that. And I was at a science workshop for this spring break week. And I ran into one of Jack's good friends, Kavika Kahiapo. And so Kavika was like, oh yeah, I record with Jack. Sometimes they hear this song. So he played his band's version of Constellations that Jack played on their album, And so he started telling me how Jack wrote the song. He's like, yeah, he was at the beach and you hear this first verse, all these words he wrote right there when the thing was happening. I was like, what? That's so crazy. And it was like, Jack had the melody for Constellations for a long time. And then he wrote the first verse at the beach while he was watching those things happen. Whoa. In that verse. And when he told me that, I was like, what? Oh my God, so smart. I never would have thought of that. Oh my gosh. Next time something happens to me, I'm going to write a song about it right there. I told him that. I was like, I'm going to do that one day. And so then this day, I was driving home from the North Shore, driving home to the East Side, and trying to get there. I worked at an elementary school teaching Hawaiian studies, and there was a traffic accident, and it was backed up for like an hour, and I was waiting, and I was late, and I was frustrated, and I started to get angry, and I thought to myself, "Whoa, wait a minute! Here I am being so upset about this situation when somebody could have lost their whole life right now, you know? At the very least, they got into a car accident. They need to like deal with insurance stuff, get a new car, find a ride to work. I don't know, you know?" And I thought, oh, shame on me for feeling this way. And I said, you know what? I should say a prayer for these people, because if they did get hurt, hopefully they're okay, you know? So I said a prayer for them, and I said, you know what? Oh my gosh, this is my moment. This is the moment where I'm learning a big lesson, and I need to write a song right now. This is what Johnson reminded me of. You know what I mean?
But is that like what would Jack do? WWJ?
No, not really.
WWJD.
I was like, oh my God, this is just like, I can write a song just like Jack, you know?
It's awesome.
And so then while I was writing it, I thought about him, and I thought to myself, oh, I can't be like, somebody died on the side of the road. It couldn't be like that. It had to be like upful and cheerful, you know, a lesson, a positive experience, you know?
Right.
And so that's how I wrote Country Road. I wrote the first two verses right there on the spot.
It just came to you.
Yes, it did. And and then I said, well, it's got to be more than 2 chords, so it was 3 chords.
It's awesome you say that story, because I've always thought, like, as I'm singing the beginning of that song, like, how did she make this happy?
Yeah,
like the words coming out of my mouth don't match the way I'm singing it. Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Have other songs come to you that way? Has that become a more typical way for you to write songs, or was that like a milestone in your musical career to make a song like that on the fly?
Yes, I feel like it was, you know, and to tell you the truth, it's because of that song, I feel like really opened doors for me to be able to have this really close relationship with Jack too, you know,
mm-hmm.
because the way that we ended up recording it, I went into the studio with him. We didn't even have a song yet. I think he was suggesting Good People for a project that we're working on together.
Okay.
And the guy that was in charge of the project, he kind of really wanted a fresh song, because Jack just released that version with the Black Eyed Peas, and so my friend really wanted a original song, and so I suggested that one. I said, hey, what about this song? I was like, to tell you the truth, I was thinking about you when I wrote it. And so I sang Country Road, and he's like, yeah, sounds great. Let's do it. And we did it.
Can I pause for a second here? Because I want to understand how you managed to nurture that friendship so quickly, and how did you get in the door to make that even happen? Because I'm sure a lot of musicians would love to write a song and be like, okay, Jack, you can use it if you want with us, or you can like,
it was more magical than that.
Yeah, tell me.
So oh my gosh, you guys, it's kind of a crazy story, but so my husband's brother, he wasn't my husband or my boyfriend at the time, but his brother had this clothing company, and they would have a kickball tournament every winter, and Jack grew up with them, and so on the North Shore, all the surfers are friends with my brother-in-law, and you know, they get together. So my brother-in-law asked me to come and make chili for this, a kickball tournament. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll come make chili, but I want to play with my band, and I also want a free team, you know? And he's like, okay, no problem. So I did. I made the chili. I went down. My band came. Mike Love was with them, was among them. He was playing keys, I think, this time. And we played, and then when we were done, Jack was at the back of the tent, and he was like, hey, my wife and I really enjoyed your music, and you sound very different from a lot of the bands here in Hawaii. would you want to play at our festival? We're thinking of inviting you to we have a festival every year, and we wanted to invite you to play at it. And I was like, what festival is this?
Oh my god.
And then he said Cocoa Festival, and I was like, oh my god, I love Cocoa Festival. I went last year. I cried and everything. I was like so excited. And then he gave me his phone number, and then I went around and I showed all my friends, look, he gave me his phone number. It says Jack. Look, it says Jack.
Oh my gosh.
Laughing at me. It's so funny. Yeah, but that's how I ended up meeting him. And then that was like December 21st. I wrote the song Country Road November 1st. December 21st, I met Jack, and then by like January, the very next month, we already recorded Country Road. It kind of happened quickly.
Wow.
What happened was I was on the front cover of this local weekly magazine or weekly newspaper, and Jack saw it, and he's like, whoa. And I called these people to say, hey, they're going to release this week. Is it okay if I say that I'm going to be a part of Jack Cocoa Festival? And they said, yeah. And then when Jack read the paper, he said, hey, you know, people are going to be asking you, approaching you and probably wanting to sign you or whatever. But if you ever have any contracts that you need help looking over, you know, let me know, because I'm happy to help. And I was like, wow, I have a partnership agreement right now that I have to sign for my record label. Would you mind helping to look at that? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he invited me over for dinner. I told him, I said, let me in. I said, can I invite a friend? He said, yeah. I said, let me invite my friend Keola, who you already met. And he went to your house for dinner one time before too. And then he said, oh yeah, Keola. Oh, if he's coming over, why don't we record a song for his project that he's working on?
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, let. So then that's how Country Road came about, the collaboration with me and Jack. Here's another kicker. There's Keola went to Jack's house before, and I asked him if I could go. And he said, no, I'm going to take this guy because this guy loves Jack, like his biggest fan, whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. Then he ends up not taking that guy and takes a girl instead. And I was pissed. I was like, how's you? You don't even take Jack's fan, you know, like you said you would. And so then, if I had held the grudge and brought somebody else instead of Keola, because I was, you know, because I would be pissed if I was pissed at Keola and I didn't take Keola, we never would have recorded Country Road.
That is crazy. I know. It's true.
Paula, you had Country Road at that point. How much of your first album, aside from that song, was already written at that point?
Oh, my whole album was already in mastering when I met Jack. Okay. Yeah, and so then we, it was good because it was printed and I was able to have copies. The first Cocoa Festival I played back in 2005 or 2006.
Wow. And was that, would you consider that kind of the beginning of your career, like in quotes? Like being on stage, like do you remember what that felt like? Can you bring us back there, being on Cocoa Festival stage for the first time with Jack and kind of launching yourself into the public?
Well, yeah, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. It was surreal. Willie Nelson was playing. Ben Harper was playing.
Oh my God.
I was just like, it was a dream. And then when we played at the Cocoa Festival in Waikiki at the Shell, Damian Marley had a show the very next night. So he's friends with Jack. And he came, and Jack, he's so sweet because I'm reggae, you know. I play a lot of reggae. Jack associates me with reggae music. Okay. And he was like, hey, because I guess Jack was, I don't know who did that part when I wasn't there, but you know that Welcome to Jam Rock song?
Yeah. Welcome to Jam Rock.
Yeah.
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 The out in the streets, they call it murder. Well, Jack got me to sing that part for Damian.
Come on.
Gosh.
No, I swear, my first time at Cocoa Festival, and I'm seeing this, and it was so cool. You guys gotta go watch the YouTube video because it's on video. My voice is, I lose my voice in it too. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, live and direct from the Waikiki Shell, we got reggae royalty, Damian, Junior Gong Marley, woo! And I was like, oh, and I lost my voice right there.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh, and I was like, I lost it. I was like, shit. It was awesome.
Oh man, Paula.
Sometimes when I feel bad about myself, I go watch that video and I'm like, I'm the shit.
Yeah. So Paula, I can't.
On iTunes.
I can like barely talk to you without just like picturing our first encounter with you, which like literally, I'm not even going to go into like too deep of details, but like I remember picking you up at the Newark train station because you came in from New York, and like we're driving you back to the Jersey Shore, and then we look in the rear view, and you're fucking rolling a joint in the back of our car in New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what? I can't do that? I'm like,
oh my God, Newark cops are going to kill us. We were like so terrified. We're like, Paula, put it away. And you're like, what?
It's fine. It's a joint, not a crack pipe.
So that was our intro to you.
It was like our first 5 minutes.
There's another memory that always stands out, which I thought was hilarious. So we get back to town. We're going to do the festival in a couple days, and we're driving around Belmar, which is one of our beach towns in Jersey. And we were running errands, and I was like, hey, Paul, I want to run some errands with me? And you're like, yeah, sure. So you like, we're driving around, and all of a sudden you like freak out. You're like, oh my God, look. And I'm like, oh my shit, what's going on? I'm like freaking out. And you're like, it's a squirrel.
That's right.
And I was like, so? And you're like, Jay, we don't have squirrels in Hawaii. This is like, I can't believe it. And it was like your first.
And everywhere for that week, you're like, they just run around wherever they want to go. We're like, yeah, they're squirrels.
Do you remember that, Paula?
Yeah, I do.
So back to the stage. So at Kukua Festival, that's kind of the beginning of your career. So I would love to kind of know what that's like. So you're going from where you were, like this local musician, local friends, kind of, very community vibe, doing barbecues and whatnot, to like being a rock star, like traveling, seeing squirrels for the first time, being
Squirrel.
being like thrust into the music industry. Do you remember some of like the first like lessons or shocking moments or epiphanies that you're like, what?
Yes, I would have to like think to myself, oh my God, is this real, or am I just like tripping out right now? Am I like a crazy person somewhere and just like have all these visions, or like, is this really happening?
Yeah, well, I can imagine.
Like, am I hallucinating?
Yeah.
Like from the
and you're like, oh, I am.
Mental institution? Like, somebody pitch you, oh my God, that hurt. Yeah, this is real.
Were there any harsh lessons from like the music industry? Because I know, once you're in the spotlight, not only do you get more praise, but sometimes people in that situation start to get criticism for the first time, or you start to get, struggles that you never had before because everything is sort of amplified. Were there any like negative or harsh or shocking stuff that just...
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yes, people, I mean, they see you as a musician, as an entertainer, but they forget that first, before all of that, you're a human being,
Yeah.
with emotions and feelings and good days and bad days, just like everybody else, like, geez, I'm a person before the music, and sometimes people forget about that. Like, I remember in the beginning, like I was running to the bathroom because I needed to use the bathroom, and somebody was like, can I take a picture of you? I'm like, I gotta use the bathroom. And I like just went. And they wrote me this long letter of how disappointing I was to them because I wouldn't take a picture with them, and it's just so unfair. And I wrote her the longest, most honest and raw response, and she never replied back. But I was like, oh no, like there were some things I was dealing with that night, and I like told her, I was like, hey, did you ever consider that this and this and this might be the case? You know what I mean? Like, come on, who do you think you are? Like, that's not how, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think there's this
I'm just like,
this thought in people's heads that like if you choose to be an entertainer, you should be entertaining all the time. So it's hard for people to understand that you could possibly have any bit of like human being inside of you sometimes.
Right. Like, hey man, if I'm not in front of the microphone and there's no ukulele in my hand, I'm off, I'm off.
There's like a really interesting recent interview with Oprah about this topic. She gets pretty intense about it because she just says she sees such bad in people sometimes because of that. Because it's like they just expect her. There's an expectation like, well, I'm seeing you, so take a picture with me. And she's just like, I don't want to. Like, I just don't want to. Like, it's interesting.
I'm in my gym clothes. I have no makeup. I'm not prepared for a photo shoot right now.
I'm not on a stage. So, and you haven't paid to get a ticket to see me right now. I know it's really interesting, isn't it?
People
we can do better as humans. We really can.
It's like you're a public attraction or something. Like, you're going to stand in front of the statue of this person. And
I mean,
weird.
It's confusing because then there's other times that as entertainers, you're like, come on, don't people want to take a picture with me? Like, it's such a funny thing. Like, I don't know.
So funny. I mean, there's a time and a place,
Yeah.
And I think people, they don't appreciate, they need to, I think people need to live more in the moment, And I think we're so caught up in trying to share our memories with other people that we forget to collect that memory in that moment when we're experiencing it,
Yeah, so true. We're all guilty of that. That's for sure.
Well, I am too. I'm guilty of that for sure. Like, but sometimes I'll just forget about my phone and I'll just have this amazing experience. And at the end, I'll look at my phone and be like, damn it, I don't have a single picture of that. What the hell?
Yeah.
But it's those moments, I think, that, I don't know. There's just some moments you just have to feel it. You have to be there. You have to leave your phone down. I hardly have any selfies with me and Jack because when I'm with him, I want to be there 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no matter where we are or what we're doing, like, I feel like just to be in that moment and have that experience in the present is way better than having like some like photo to brag about later,
Yeah.
Yes. And so I will say that on Jack, that I think he sort of like carries himself in a very interesting way that almost like what is it, like not rejects, but like repels cell phones, I swear, because it's literally been 10 years of us going to shows, to see him and be in his presence. And you don't see people really like with their phones out. Everyone just wants to be present with his music, which is like a superpower in its own right. But we've never taken a picture with him until finally this summer.
It took us 8.5 or 9 years to like take a photo.
Jay, finally this summer, because we had our kids with us, he was like, it has been almost 10 years. We're getting a picture. I'm like, okay. But it
Classic.
is, he makes you want to be present, right? Like, that's a really good superpower to have if you have to choose a superpower.
Yeah, for sure. He has a love and hate relationship with technology.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because it's like part of a career, but we all fight against it. That's for sure.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Going back to creative. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no! One time I was in the studio with Jack's engineer, Robert Carranza, and I lost my phone. I was in LA. I lost my phone. I had to get a new iPhone. And then I said, I hate that I feel like I need my phone so much. Like, I hate that feeling, that I feel like it's my connection to the world. Like, and I was like, I can't stand it. And then Robert Carranza said, oh my gosh, you and Jack are like two peas in a pod. Because I was like, I hate that I love my phone, that I feel like I need my phone. And he said that Jack also has a love and hate relationship with technology.
Can we just acknowledge the rooster in the background? What's happening over there, Paula?
Hey man, I live in the country. Where you guys think you're calling?
I'm like, is that a child? I'm like, nope, that is a rooster. That's what's going on.
Yeah, wild roosters running through the yard.
Oh my gosh. So it's wild. They're not yours, huh?
No.
No pet rooster.
They're free range. They're free range chickens. You guys come by anytime.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're good.
Joking.
We're good.
I know you're the
Oh my God.
I was just joking. It's like a horrible joke of her being right?
Oh my God, you're amazing. Talk to me about your creative process, because I really want to understand how your superpower works, because I'm just fascinated by your music and I love you and I love talking to you and I want to understand how this magic stardust like floats through you. So you had mentioned that some of your songs have taken you like 8 years and you haven't released a full-length album in like what, like a dozen years or something like that?
13 years.
13 freaking years,
May.
Paula. Jesus. So
depriving us.
is this
it's my favorite number anyway?
Is that due to like artist block, creative block, lack of inspiration, and I guess basing my question on that, how do you deal with creative block or lack of inspiration? Do you have ways of tapping into that? Do you like just wait until like the magic star energy floats through you in a vision? Like, do you try to like actively tap into that in some way? I know you said meditation was a thing for you. Can you talk about that?
Oh yeah. I feel like for me anyway, I've always been like a very emotional person, you know. I feel like sometimes when for the creative part, I don't know, man. I'm all feeling, so like it has to feel right. It has to be right. I always believe that things happen in its own perfect timing. You know, everything that's meant to be will happen in its own perfect timing. There were lessons in life that I needed to learn. I wasn't even there yet. I didn't have the musicians that I do today, you know. I don't think, I think it's all happening on time, like the right time. Like I just can't, I'm not one of those people. I can't just put anything out, you know, too. And I've had songs for a long time, but I just couldn't, you know, it just wasn't the right time. Like even I did a Kickstarter campaign and that's how I funded a lot of this album too, my Kickstarter campaign. And man, you should see, like, people are so mad about me not having an album, and it was just like a huge pressure. Like I felt like I was letting these people down, and I had to like stop. I had to stop thinking about them, you know, because it was like, I'm not making this album for anybody else but me, you know, for my soul.
No, I know Jay goes through the same thing. It's like the pressure of like there hasn't been anything new in a little while, and people are wondering what's going on, and then he puts it on himself. No one's actually.
Well, for me, for instance, like this is where my question is coming from, because like for me, I have a similar process where it's almost like shamanistic. Like I like the art to flow through me, and when it's not, I don't like to force it. But I do have meditation practice. I do certain things to try to stay connected to that energy. I love the freaking rooster.
Roosters are killing me.
But, oh my God, that rooster just knocked my train of thought. But I also have like, you know, the real life pressure of like I have to make a living, so I have to not constantly, but I have to regularly create artwork because I make a living from it. And I think that it seems like you've been fortunate or blessed because you have had such a success early on. Can you speak to musicians out there who maybe haven't had such phenomenal success, like right out of the gate, that maybe their process is similar, where they would prefer the music just come to them on its own terms, but they have real life pressures weighing down on them they have to create? Are there practices or things that you would recommend to people in that situation to try to make that magic happen more often or more consistently?
Wow. You know what? Yeah, you're right. I think because, you know, well, everybody's different too, Jay, you know, and everybody's meant to follow a different path in life and in whatever field they're in or whatever, you know, creative avenue they belong to or they follow, you know. Like we're not all meant to have the same experiences, you know, because everybody's so different in their experiences in life. And the way that they express all of their inspiration, whatever inspires them, the way they express themselves, the music, the style of music, the way that they sing, the differences. And for me, I know that I need to fill myself up with beautiful experiences in order to be inspired. And I know also that you cannot plan to be inspired. Inspiration is not a planned thing, it happens on its own naturally. And there are different types of songwriters too, Some people write songs because they have to, like, take for example, people that write in Nashville. There's just a different way that they write. They like go into a room and they're with other musicians or songwriters and they collaborate. Like, oh, how about this song? Anybody got any ideas? What about a melody? How about, whatever, you know what I mean? And they like collaborate like that. And they're like, they can bust out 5 or 6 to how many ever songs in a day, but they get paid to do that. And that it's different. And yeah, you could probably get some really great hits from that. But, and you know what? There are people who do that here in Hawaii. Like there's, musicians and artists, they know how the commercial scene works, and they know the formula or the recipe for success, and they follow it, and they get their songs on the radio and they're played like in constant rotation all the time, and they do it for a different reason. And I think that, for me, my reasons are not the same reasons as theirs are. The reason I make music is not the same. And I think maybe that has a lot to do with, people and the reason why they have more inspiration or they create more pieces of art, or you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
I think everybody's different, and what motivates them is very different. So for me, what motivates me? I don't know.
Let me ask you this then. So from the early on in the conversation, and just from knowing you for as long as we have, I know you're very spiritual, and you spoke to the connection you have with the universe. So if you're not necessarily using that pathway, that connection to consistently or to routinely pull songs out, are you still tapping into those visions, into that special magical connection that you have?
Oh,
you just regularly tapping into that, or just whenever it comes to you?
Whenever it comes to me,
okay,
mostly. But like sometimes, like for example, my friend Ellie Mack, she just asked me to be a part of her song, so I felt like I should write a verse. Initially, she asked me to write a verse, and then later on, she just said maybe just the bridge, that I'll sing a existing bridge, whatever. But in a situation like that, I had to like think about the song, about what her words are. It was kind of a love song, and so like I had to write a love song part, like it was about love. So I kept the melody and everything, but like I sat down and I thought of it, and I tapped into it, like you always have your heart and your innermost part of your being, your soul. You always have that wherever you go, and you can tap into it anytime you want. But yeah, just sitting down and like actively thinking about it or writing a song, I can do that too. But I don't. And just because everybody doesn't hear it doesn't mean that there's no songs. You know what I mean? Like I got songs. Like I said, I write songs all the time on my voice memo recorder.
I know, we just have to get a hold of your iPhone. Yeah.
I got 4 days of songs.
See, the minute you just said that you lost your iPhone in LA, I'm like, see, this is what's going to happen. Someone's going to release all the Paula songs.
Yeah. Thank goodness for
I know.
Cloud. I should go. I'm going to, after we get off this phone call, I'm gonna upload all the stuff.
I'm making you paranoid.
Computer. I'm gonna just because.
Yeah.
So finishing up that topic, are there visions that have been so intensely clear, or things that you are just manifesting that you can share with us that you see happening to you or your career that are these things that are maybe keeping you going, working towards?
Oh yeah, and you know what? Like also, just because, and even though there hasn't been any new music, it's not like I've been not doing anything.
Yeah, you've
I'm
been
not
busy.
doing nothing.
Yeah. I love the YouTube videos of like your new songs too. Those were amazing.
Oh yeah. I'm really excited about this album. Those are songs from my new album.
So good.
Except for Parachute.
Yes.
Yes, I'm excited about that. What was your question again about the visions?
Oh, you were just talking earlier about how you had that such a clear vision when you were like 4 or 5 about being at Red Rocks. I was wondering if there's one of those types of visions that's so ridiculously clear that you know is going to happen, but hasn't.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you the thing about the Byron Bay Blues Fest. Just yesterday it was confirmed. And then I was looking at my, on Instagram you have like a little tab that you can save things, people's posts, and like so you can find them later. Well, I made a little folder or whatever called Dream Gig. And when I tapped on it, it was Byron Bay Blues Fest this year. Like the one I just got confirmed for yesterday.
That's so crazy.
That's amazing.
Look at you
I said,
manifesting.
OMG, I'm going to go look for Red Rocks and put that in my
do it.
No, but also, I also realized the power of visualization. And like, thinking about what you want and creating these things. What do you want to happen in your life? What kind of goals do you want to set for yourself? What's your dream? What's your wish? Because you can make them all come true. And so my goal right now is I want to release my album. I want to have a big CD release party, or concert at Hawaii Theater. It's one of our most prominent venues on Oahu.
I want to come.
Yeah, come. I'm thinking fall. I'm not sure yet. But
okay. Well, the kids have not seen Hawaii yet, so we would gladly head on out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And you know what? There's a direct flight from New York.
Absolutely.
Are you coming back this way soon, Paula?
I'm not sure, but anything can happen, you know? I mean, I'm sure I'm going to come back because like,
especially when you're a star child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've inspired me. I've been like noodling on my guitar for like longer than I can even think, and I never committed to that moment, like you said, when you wrote Country Road, where you just decided just to write something. Like it seems like just deciding to write something was really what changed you, and I've never pushed myself over the cliff to just commit to actually doing something musically, even though I have no talent, just for the expressive reasons, just to write something, So you've inspired me. It's great to hear how you've used music as in a cathartic, like therapy way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And man, Jay, you're so talented. Like I wish I could draw what's in my mind or paint what's in my mind. Like that's a beautiful talent. I've always admired that ability as well.
Thank you, Paula.
Oh man, so we have one last question we ask everyone on the podcast, and this is going to be an interesting one. You're actually not the first person we've had on here that lived on the beach in a tent, so we'll see. But when I ask you, what's the first thing you think of when I put you back in your childhood kitchen? What comes to mind?
Oh, one morning, my sister and I were real small, we were real little. I probably was like 3 years old or something. And my mom was asleep, but I wanted some cereal. So I go, I pour the cereal in the bowl, make some for my little sister. And then I get the gallon of milk out and I go to pour the milk in the bowl and it just like dumps all over the whole floor. And so I'm like, holy crap. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we could play slip and slide.
Oh my God, stop.
I'm pretty sure I dumped more milk on the floor to like make it slipperier. And we just played slip and slide in the kitchen.
Oh
and we're like little kids, we're like live in Hawaii. We're just in our like underwear, little girls, like we're like in our underwear, like slipping and sliding in milk all over the kitchen floor.
Oh my
I don't
God.
remember the lickings that I got. I don't remember that. I don't know if I got lickings
We
or
tend
not.
to black that part out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I blacked it out. I might have. I'm not sure.
Oh,
But
I
it was
love
just
it.
so fun. It was worth it.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
I
So we've
love
given
it.
everyone a lot to look forward to with you, but where can people find you if they are looking for more of Paula?
Slipping and
Where can
sliding
they
on the
find me?
kitchen floor.
Yeah.
Is it
Slipping
Paula
and
Fuga
sliding.
Music or paulafuga.com or what's
You
your
know
website?
what? I don't even know. I don't know.
Okay, we'll find it for the show notes.
Just close your eyes. Think of
We'll
me.
see you in the stars.
Think of a star.
Yeah.
All right.
Wish really hard, and then one day you'll see me. Guarantee.
That's the best answer I've ever heard.
Well, how about Instagram? I'll be your agent here. So you could find Paula.
Your agent's so mad right now, Paula.
at pfunklove on Instagram.
Yes.
Sure, that works.
Or
too.
hanging out with Jack Johnson.
Yeah. Or just roaming around the North
classic.
Shore.
Hanging out with
Awesome.
roosters.
This was amazing. I'm gonna have to dig up that. We have a
Chelsea
really
and Jill.
good selfie photo of us on the way to Dave Matthews. We have to find it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah, we'll
that.
find that one.
Paula, we love you.
Yes, you're the best.
I love you guys too.
Sing it, girl.
No way.
Come
You're
on.
not
We're
catching me
just
on this.
singing. Paula just makes you want to sing.
She does. You can't help but sing along. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I think we said it enough, but Paula is great. I love her. I was just thinking about when she was visiting us the first time. I don't know if it was chili, but do you remember she was cooking us something vegetarian in our kitchen?
I don't know.
You
I don't
remember
remember
that?
that. I didn't
I
appreciate.
don't know where I was
cooking
going
as
with
much.
that.
I don't
Just a
either.
random memory that popped in my head. It's nice to have little random memories of
It's
people.
actually funny. Paula's popped into our life a few times. We actually, before we even knew who she was, ran into her at the grocery store in Hawaii.
Did we?
Yeah, we saw
When
her.
we
just
first
didn't-
visited Sean?
Yeah, but we didn't know that's who it was.
Huh.
I know.
I
it's funny.
vaguely remember that.
Um,
This was an inspiring episode, and I feel like as much as we've had a chance to get to know Paula, she still kind of threw some curveballs at me, like the whole Star Child thing.
I know. Well, she is made of the stars, isn't she?
Yeah, I
She's
mean, there's
just pure magic.
just
Well, I think
sparkly
it's
and shiny and awesome.
I think it's cool to attach a bit of that, like this traumatic story could have ended in so many ways, and like why'd you make it out? And like you can see a little bit of that sparkle of like, because I had this light to look towards that never disappeared, and it was always singing. I mean, that is so funny. Like she heard her own voice at the age of 3, and like in comparison to her mother's, how amazing it was.
She definitely has that inner child thing still. Like, I don't care if she's like 75 someday, she's still going to be like Paula, the little kid in my head. She's just like such a youthful spirit. Maybe it's a Hawaii thing, because I feel like we said that about Sean Davey too.
Yeah, a little bit. It's also like the just the profession, and like her world is surrounded by things that keep her young. Like she just loves what she does.
I'm seeing a pattern here. People that live in Hawaii that don't have children remain youthful.
Yeah. Shaka.
What were some of the any curveballs or highlights that stood out for you besides the rooster?
I don't think any. That was really funny. It was funny because I think I had to re-listen to it to hear the story she was telling during like the first 10 rooster crows, because like I was so focused on that damn rooster that I couldn't jump back in. But no, I mean the Star Child thing we have as like a close personal thing for our lives too. So that was really cool just to talk about. The Red Rocks thing that she's
Why
never.
is that a close personal thing? You should tell
Well,
that little...
I mean that's a personal thing, so I don't know.
Oh, it's
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone that we know who we believe has psychic abilities or is a medium had mentioned that she feels like Summer, our little daughter, has some kind of Star Child, Golden Child connection, which is a cool thing. So.
Yes, absolutely, and a bit of the boys too, but. No, I think that, and then just talking about that she's never played at Red Rocks, which like I just think is such a magical place, and I'm shocked she hasn't played there. So I'm hoping that's going to manifest itself for her.
You know what else I love about Paula is, unlike some of the musicians we've encountered, she has such an ability to like hang on to the magic and the excitement of it all.
Yeah,
like as cool as she plays it around Jack, and I know her and Jack are friends at this point. She still is like such a super fan, and I love that about her, that she still loves the music and the whole process and the performance, and the whole shebang.
Yeah, no, I mean, she does every single step of it, and every phone call she gets and every step forward. It's a big deal for her. It's really cool.
And just like the way she met Jack and how it was such a big deal for her, I love that, and how it connects to the fact that we kind of attracted Paula's presence into our life. I think that's cool.
I know. We just sucked her right in. We're going to keep doing it. Coming after you, Paula. I want to be there for that opening for your album.
Yes, Paula, please bring us out there to Hawaii. I want to paint something next
to come
to
to
you.
Hawaii
do
so
something
bad.
cool. So we hope you guys loved that conversation with our dear friend Paula. Please check out her music. I can't believe she's finally coming out with a new album. I was really excited to hear that. And also, as an artist, very inspired and kind of refreshed that she wasn't forced to put something out there before this. She waited 13 years. It just came to her whenever it came to her, and I think that's really magical.
Yeah. If you have any love for that ukulele sound, take a minute and just jump on to her Spotify. It's like she's phenomenal. All the links are in there for all her amazing stuff. We talked a lot about the Jack Johnson stuff, and her American Idol tryout is even on. Her audition is on our show notes and all that fun stuff. So jump on in.
Well, aloha, everyone. Peace out.
Thanks, guys. We hope you loved that episode. If you did love it and could give us some love on iTunes, that would be amazing. You can leave a review, and we will give you a shout out at some point on this podcast.
Also, if you guys can follow us on social media, we would love to hear from you. We are on pretty much every social media platform at Shifting Perceptions Podcast, which is the same as our website, shiftingperceptionspodcast.com. We look and reply to all comments, so please share with your friends, tag us. We appreciate all the love.
And don't forget that all of our guests also see all these comments, so I'm sure if you want to just have a space you can reach out, these are the places to do it. We also want to give some love to our amazing photographer that has done all of our photos so far,
Kevin Rigby.
His website is wavelightstudio.com. And
also our really good friend John Harvey, who did the music for our podcast. You can find him at Instagram at Harvey Wallbanger. So that's our little rolling credits. We will be back next week.